Boxing truth here. The more you follow this story, the more you'll come to a conclusion that Amir Khan just doesn't want to fight Kell Brook. Seems very obvious when you do the research and you go back in time and you read the statements and you see between the two camps which one is really trying to make the fight, which one really wants to fight, and then you see the other side, which one who doesn't want to fight, who's making every excuse in the book not to take the fight. And that is Amir Khan. He simply doesn't want to fight Kell Brook for whatever reason. The most likely reason is just that he doesn't want that work. He fears losing to Kell Brook. Kell Brook and Eddie Hearn have been trying very hard to make this fight for the past couple of years. They've always been in good spirits that perhaps a fight can be made. But Amir Khan has put on constable roadblocks to prevent this fight from happening. Always making excuses from that Kell Brook needs to win a world title. Then Kell Brook did that. He won a world title. Then Khan's next excuse was, "Oh, Brook's not a big enough name. He needs to beat He needs to beat more names. He needs to do something." I mean, the excuses just keep rolling in and coming in, and Khan in the meantime just doesn't do himself any favors by sitting out and not fighting and wasting his time for fights that are not going to happen. Yet he has a big fight that can right in front of him that's pretty much being thrown at him, and he won't take the fight. I mean, it's the biggest fight out there for him. Khan and Brook were in early negotiations since Christmas. Now that fight appears unlikely to happen after the social media rant Khan had yesterday. Pretty much stated that, Brook wants 50-50. No way that's going to happen. But it's hard to believe anything Amir Khan says. I mean, a lot of stuff that he said has been refuted. I mean, this is the guy that just a couple of months ago said he was pulling himself out of negotiations with Manny Pacquiao. And then the very next day he went back on that statement and then decided to waste a couple of more months of his career while waiting for that fight. Now, the offer Khan made to Eddie Hearn's team, I mean, his lawyer offered him a very disrespectful offer. It was just a slap in the face to Eddie Hearn and Kell Brook. According to Eddie Hearn, Amir Khan's lawyer offered him an 80-20 split. And that's just disrespectful. That pretty much just states that, you're trying to price yourself out. You don't really want the fight. I mean, yes, Khan is the bigger name. He's entitled to a bigger purse. Eddie Hearn has agreed with that. But here's the problem is Kell Brook is a world champion. He holds a strap. He has something Khan hasn't had around his waist in over 3 years. A major world title. So you can't disrespect a champion like that. He can take a bigger purse, but he can't offer Kell Brook crumbs. He's bringing something to the table. Because of his name attached to Khan, if this fight were to happen, it makes the fight bigger. Without that name, this fight is not that big. Without Khan's name attached to Brook's name, the fight is not that big, and vice versa. Both of them are bringing something to the table to make this fight big. Both of their names attached to each other make this fight a very big fight over in UK. I mean, it's a sellout. It will be at Wembley, over 80,000 people. It will be Khan's biggest fight. It's Kell Brook's biggest fight out there. I mean, why not take the fight? It's ready. It's not going to get any bigger. I mean, it's amazing Khan still has his opportunity despite, the very protective of selection of opponents that he's participated in the past ever since Danny knocked him out. I mean, just look at his resume. I mean, Kell Brook, one win over Porter trumps anything that Khan's did at welterweight. Anything. I mean, what's Khan done? He beat Julio Diaz, almost got knocked out in the fight. That win over Alexander doesn't really look like much these days. Collazo, a little past it when he fought him. Not at his best, past his prime. And then he fought Algieri, who was unranked at welterweight, coming off a bad loss to Manny Pacquiao. That's it. That's all he has to show for in his welterweight run. Just not much to brag about. And well, that's the story of the negotiation, and now it looks like Khan is he's gonna opt to do a rematch with Danny Garcia, and that's fine. That's no problem. It's just that, you know, I think most fans would rather see him fight Brook. I mean, it's a fresh matchup. It's been built for a long time. It's a bigger fight for Khan. He'll make way more money. I mean, the money that would generate for a Garcia rematch comes nowhere near the type of cash you would make for a domestic showdown with Kell Brook. I mean, just ask yourself this question: which fight would you take if you're a fighter? It's in the best interest of you. It's not about glory, as Angel Garcia would say. It's all. It's about the paper too. Well, this is the fight that attaches two together. You won't not only just get the glory, you get the money. You get to break bank as well. I mean, just ask yourself this question: would I take a fight with Kell Brook, 80,000 people at Wembley Stadium, a guaranteed purse of 10 million or more, or should I take a fight with Danny Garcia in America? Most likely it'll take place at the Barclays Center, and only 16,000 people will show up if it's a sellout. And the money generated from that fight won't even be half, not even near half of what I could generate for a Kell Brook fight. It's a no-brainer. You take the Kell Brook fight, so why won't Amir Khan take it? It's just, I don't know. Khan's being delusional. Gave Kell Brook a disrespectful offer, like he's some sort of big superstar or pay-per-view star, and he's not. He's been spending too much time with Andre Ward. They seem to be rubbing off on each other. They both have the same levels of delusion in boxing. Amir Khan needs to realize that he's not this superstar. I mean, the track record shows. Maybe in the UK he's very popular, but in the United States that's just not the case. You guys don't believe me? Just look at the figures. All his fights in Las Vegas didn't do big business. Not at the gate. Only 3,000 tickets over 3,000 tickets were sold for his fight with Danny Garcia at the Mandalay Bay. That's an 11,000 seat venue. His fights with Zab Judah, Maidana didn't do big business in Vegas. He hasn't sold out any big venues in America. So when you look at the numbers and the figures and the TV ratings for his last fight against Chris Algieri, it's kind of hard to dispute what HBO said about Amir Khan and why they weren't really interested in putting Khan on a pay-per-view with Pacquiao. I mean, Amir Khan's just not a big star in America. And he's not bringing the legion of fans to come over and watch him fight. So he's no Ricky Hatton. And he doesn't have the popularity of Ricky Hatton that brings in thousands of fans to come over to see him fight in America. And another thing is Eddie Hearn. He said an interesting comment. He said that it's very confusing negotiating with Amir Khan. He has about 3 or 4 parties of middlemen negotiating for him. So he's pretty much agreeing with what Manny Pacquiao stated earlier in the week, that the reason why it was so difficult to make the fight with Khan was because he had too many middlemen that ruined their negotiations. So Amir Khan needs to see what's up with his team. How come there's so many middlemen, according to Eddie Hearn and Manny Pacquiao, negotiating for his fights? It should only be one person, 2 at minimum, negotiating for him. Either his lawyer or his advisor, wherever, his uncle or his father. It shouldn't be all these people negotiating for him. So, well, he's cost himself big fights because of his mouth. This according to rumors, he was very close to getting a Mayweather fight, but he opened his mouth, and Mayweather said, forget you. I don't need you. I can fight whoever I want." So maybe his mouth has cost him big fights in the past, and now perhaps too many middlemen are costing him other big fights. But he just doesn't want to fight Kell Brook. I don't get it. It's the biggest fight for him. He wins this fight, he's back. He's back in business. I mean, he wins this fight, he'll have a strap. He'll have bragging rights as the best welterweight in the UK. He'll have beaten his rival, who has been chasing him for a fight for years. Because Brook is 100% confident that he would destroy Amir Khan. He's been begging for this fight. He wants it real bad because it's the biggest money fight out there for him as well. And he knows he can beat Amir Khan. But Amir Khan, with his actions, his excuses of why he won't fight Kell Brook, pretty much interprets that he just doesn't want the fight. Not confident enough that he can beat Kell Brook. So it looks like that fight's not going to happen. Still hearing Khan's going to return in March, but if he does that, is he really going to come back so soon to fight in June before Ramadan to fight Danny Garcia? Is that really going to happen? I mean, it seems like fighting more than once, especially in such a short time period, is a little too much for him. So I'd be shocked and surprised if he fights 2 times within 2 months. Like say he fights at the end of March, and then he takes a fight on in the first week of June against Danny Garcia. That would actually shock me, but who knows? Like, I don't see it. I don't see that happening. But Khan just needs to fight. He needs to get back in the ring, but he should reconsider and get back into negotiating with Eddie Hearn for a fight with Kell Brook at Wembley Stadium. That's his fight right there. That's the fight that's gonna. If he wins that fight, that'll get him the respect that he wants. He just needs to be more active and make better decisions. Talk a little less, fight a little more, and then maybe a lot of fans wouldn't get all this hate so much. Maybe he wouldn't be as disliked by boxing fans as he is. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.